The US, however, did everything to prevent Filipinos from taking that vaccine, even if that will cost the lives of Filipinos. Pentagon ran secret anti-vax campaign to undermine China during the pandemic. This is your favorite half Chinese, and this comes from Reuters, an American news source. It reads, the US military launched a clandestine program amid the COVID crisis to discredit China's Sinovac inoculation, payback for Beijing's efforts to blame Washington for the pandemic. One target, the Filipino public. Very interesting. They're close friends in the South China Sea, right? Health experts say the gambit was indefensible and put innocent Filipinos' lives at risk. That Filipinos' life is obvious because they were targeted. The article says innocent lives at risk. I can be wrong, but I don't think I ever seen Beijing trying to blame Washington for the pandemic. They did ask, however, for as much as I can recall, for certain numbers of alleged earlier cases that Trump did not want to publicize because of what they call national security reasons. But again, I can be wrong, but nothing that I can recall that they literally blamed the US like the US literally blamed China, even after it was known that it did not come from China. Anyway, it continues. At the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic, the US military launched a secret campaign to counter what it perceived as China's growing influence in the Philippines, a nation hit especially hard by the deadly virus. The clandestine operation has not been previously reported. It aimed to sow doubt about the safety and efficacy of vaccines and other life-saving aid that was being supplied by China, a Reuters investigation found. Through phony internet accounts meant to impersonate Filipinos, the military propaganda efforts morphed into an anti-vax campaign. Social media posts decried the quality of face masks, test kits, and the first vaccines that would become available in the Philippines, China's Sinovac inoculation. Reuters identified at least 300 accounts on X, formerly Twitter, that matched descriptions shared by former US military officials familiar with the Philippines operations. Almost all were created in the summer of 2020 and centered on the slogan, China ang virus. Tagalog for China is the virus. Not my words, by the way. I'm reading from the article. Don't blame me. I'm not saying that. So basically, they put the lives of the Filipinos at risk for their own gain. I think the Filipinos that still support the US should really reconsider their loyalty to the US. Now, before those start, this is straight from Reuters, an American news outlet and news source, not Chinese propaganda as you probably would say or think. The article is very long. I will show some examples they use from the article later in the video, so stay tuned to witness how real propaganda looks like. But first, I want to say something of my own experience with alleged fake accounts pretending to be Filipino accounts. Many times when I post something about the South China Sea, I have a horde of accounts bombarding me with war talk. Like, oh yeah, we will go to war and all this, and just, really bad situation. I did go and look at certain accounts and found the overly vast majority of them being similar, empty accounts. That says a lot. Any creator on TikTok or any other social media directly understands what I'm talking about. I sincerely hope Filipinos start to think who would benefit from a war between the Philippines and China. It certainly won't be the Philippines and it won't be China. And the United States, as according to this article, also has proven that it really doesn't care about your lives at all whatsoever. What all they care about is destroying China. And if you need to be destroyed because of that, then so be it. It's collateral damage. I'm sorry that I'm the bringer of this news, but actually the article itself already says it, and also Scott Ritter.
The United States cannot fight and engage China and win. We will not beat the Chinese. We cannot beat the Chinese, and we know this, and yet we're using the Philippines to create the conditions of potential conflict with the Chinese. Please understand that for the Filipino people, this is a recipe for disaster. You think America is your friend. So too did the Ukrainian people. And they are dying by the hundreds of thousands. Friends don't let friends die in those quantities.
So here you have it, another American trying to warn you that the United States is not your friend and that you are being used. So the people who thought of going off on me in the comment section with, oh, Mr. Fong is biased, Mr. Fong is Chinese, therefore don't listen to him, all he says is lies. Americans themselves are trying to warn you. Mr. Fong is probably a better friend, as I want you to prosper and to live a good life instead of dying in vain. Anyway, I now will show some examples of this propaganda that this article from Reuters shows. Example 1, and this is the translation. I'm not going to say what it says. You can pause the video and read for yourself because of algorithm reasons, or screenshot it and then read it. And this is example 2 and its translation. And again, I'm not going to say what it says. You can read for yourself because of algorithm reasons. Now further in the article is a very interesting part called US Propaganda Machine. And it says the following. In spring 2020, Special Ops Commander Braga turned to a cadre of psychological warfare soldiers and contractors in Tampa to counter Beijing's COVID efforts. Colleagues say Braga was a long-time advocate of increasing the use of propaganda operations in global competition. In trailers and squad buildings at a facility on Tampa's MacDill Air Force Base, U.S. military personnel and contractors would use anonymous accounts on X, Facebook and other social media to spread what became an anti-vax message. The facility remains the Pentagon clandestine propaganda factory. Psychological warfare has played a role in the U.S. military operation for more than 100 years, although it has changed in style and substance over time. So-called psy-oppers were best known following World War II for their supporting role in combat missions across Vietnam, Korea, and Kuwait, often dropping leaflets to confuse the enemy or encourage their surrender. After the Al-Qaeda attacks of 2001, the United States was fighting a borderless shadowy enemy, and the Pentagon began to wage a more ambitious kind of psychological combat previously associated only with the CIA. The Pentagon set up front news outlets, paid off prominent local figures, and sometimes funded television soap operas in order to turn local populations against militant groups or Iranian-backed militias, former national security officials told Reuters. Unlike earlier PSYOP missions which sought specific tactical advantages on the battlefield, the post-9/11 operations hope to create broader change in public opinion across the entire regions. That is a part of it. You can read the rest of it later. Now, China still did donate millions of vaccines to the Philippines to save the lives of the Philippine people. The US, however, did everything to prevent Filipinos from taking that vaccine, even if that will cost the lives of Filipinos. And for what? For their own political gain. This shows the true nature of the US and how it treats its friends. Please let me know in the comment section what you all think of this, but please keep it respectful. We are not uncivilized fast food barbarians, unlike some others. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. Also, please follow my other social medias. All will be linked on the end of the video. This was your favorite half Chinese, and as always, have a great day.